Imagine this. You're lying in bed, the world is finally quiet, and your body is begging for sleep, but your mind refuses. It begins replaying every mistake you've made, every possibility of failure, every fear you've pushed away all day. Suddenly, tomorrow feels dangerous. The future feels like a storm you're not prepared to face. This is the psychology of people who stress about the future. And today, we're going to walk inside their world slowly, deeply, honestly, like opening a door that's been locked for years. Because future stress isn't just overthinking. It's a story that begins long before the worry appears. People who stress about the future don't actually fear the future. What they really fear is uncertainty. The human brain is wired for patterns, for predictions, for stability. And when the future feels blurry, unclear, or uncontrollable, the mind goes into survival mode. Imagine your brain as a watchdog. Its job is to protect you. But for some people, the watchdog is too loyal. It barks at every possibility, every what if, every shadow. And even when there is no danger, their brain sees one anyway. Not because they're weak, but because their nervous system was trained by life to stay alert. Many people who stress about the future grew up in environments where things changed without warning. Maybe they had unpredictable parents. Maybe money was always uncertain. Maybe their childhood felt unstable, so they learned early. If I don't think ahead, bad things will happen. So now, as adults, planning isn't just planning, it's protection, it's survival. Their stress is not a habit, it's a shield. They also carry something deeper, fear of losing control. The brain loves control because control brings safety, but the future is the one thing nobody can fully control. And for people who stress about the future, this reality feels terrifying. So they try to prepare for every possibility, every outcome, every problem that might appear. But here's the psychological twist. The more they chase control, the more stressed they become. Because the future is infinite and the brain can't solve infinity. Then we have another layer, the imagination trap. You see, anxious minds are incredibly creative minds. They can imagine 1,000 paths at once, but instead of imagining opportunities, they imagine disasters, not because they want to, but because evolution wired humans to notice threats first. It's called negativity bias. And for future-focused worriers, this bias works on overdrive. Their imagination becomes a movie screen where every worst-case scenario plays in HD. This makes them overthink simple decisions, a message not answered, a plan that's uncertain, a delay, a silence, a change. Even small things feel like warnings. Their brain whispers, "Prepare now before it's too late." So they analyze, predict, and over-prepare not to create drama but to avoid it. They're not being dramatic. They're trying to feel safe. Something else lies beneath: perfectionism. People who stress about the future expect a lot from themselves. They're afraid of failing, afraid of disappointing people, afraid of being judged. In their mind, the future is a test, and they must pass. They don't feel allowed to make mistakes. They don't feel allowed to be unprepared. So they carry the pressure of being perfect in a world where perfection doesn't exist. This creates a constant, silent war between who they are and who they think they must be. The truth is, many people who stress about the future don't trust themselves. Not because they aren't capable, but because no one taught them they are. No one taught them that they can handle life as it comes. That even if things go wrong, they'll survive. Because their mind was trained to believe, if I don't worry, something bad will happen. This belief becomes automatic. It becomes identity. It becomes the filter through which every future possibility passes. And every possibility becomes a threat. Some people also carry emotional memories that shape their anxiety. A heartbreak they didn't expect. A failure that came out of nowhere. A betrayal they were never prepared for. Pain teaches the brain a dangerous message. Good things end unexpectedly. So the brain begins watching for the next heartbreak, the next failure, the next disappointment long before it happens. They think they're preparing themselves, but they're actually reliving the past in advance. The psychology goes deeper. Time blindness. People who stress about the future often lose connection with the present. Their mind jumps ahead days, months, years while their body stands still in the moment. This creates a constant feeling of being behind, unprepared, or running out of time. Even when everything is okay, their body feels like something is wrong. It's like their nervous system never received permission to relax. This leads to burnout, fatigue, perfectionism, guilt, and emotional exhaustion. And the worst part? They rarely tell anyone. They smile, they function, they try to appear strong. But inside, their thoughts are racing, fast and loud, like a storm that never sleeps. Yet here's the most powerful truth. People who stress about the future are some of the strongest minds on earth. They're planners, they're visionaries, they see possibilities others miss. Their sensitivity is not weakness, it's awareness. Their fear is not failure, it's responsibility. Their worry is not chaos, it's care. They worry because they want to do good. They stress because they want to be prepared. They think about the future because they want to build one that's safe for themselves and for the people they love. But the journey forward begins with one shift, learning that the future is not an enemy, learning that not every thought deserves attention, learning that uncertainty is not danger, it's life, and understanding that the mind doesn't need to predict everything to feel safe. Sometimes safety is letting go. Sometimes strength is breathing. Sometimes confidence is trusting that you will handle tomorrow when tomorrow comes. People who stress about the future don't need to eliminate worry. They need to understand it. They need to learn that their brain is trying to protect them and that they can protect themselves. The future will always be uncertain, but uncertainty doesn't mean danger. It means possibility. It means growth. It means change. And sometimes it means miracles. The psychology of people who stress about the future is not a story of fear. It's a story of sensitivity, intelligence, survival, and hope. And once they learn to trust themselves, the future becomes not something to fear, but something they're finally ready to meet. If you love understanding why people think and behave the way they do, hit subscribe now